What's going on, Geminites? It's your boy GemMint here with the new comic book day reviews for Wednesday, October 16th. This is going to come out a day late because I couldn't get to all these books. We're going to keep it spoiler free, so stay tuned. Alright guys, as always, this is brought to you by our local comic shop, Lost Dog Comics in El Paso, Texas. Make sure you swing by, tell him Gem sent you, and check him out on the weekends because he's doing a lot of sales on back issues, on Funko Pops, on statues, so be sure to follow him on Instagram and look out for those sales. Alright, so, got a good stack of books here. I'm still struggling trying to get some DC titles, but I picked up Metal Men #1, which is issue 1 out of a 12-part miniseries. Right away, I could tell Metal Men was based on an older story, and they kind of are doing a reboot. It's about this professor who his goal is to create artificial life out of metal, and he's making these metal people, metal men. So there's like a gold one, a platinum one, an iron one, bronze one, whatever. I think there's like 5. It was a pretty cool story. I'm definitely going to keep reading it. We find out that these metal men that seem like people are not all that they seem, and this professor has been keeping some secrets. And what is really cool at the end is we get introduced to a potentially new metal that he can create a person with. And I don't want to spoil it, but if you've been following any of the DC Universe metal stuff, you might have a hint. So Metal Men was pretty cool. The art was good. Writing was fluent. I enjoyed it. City of Bane. Batman 81, which is City of Bane Part A Million. They're in Gotham now. You know, they came back last issue. And this kind of gives us more Thomas Wayne. Where we left off, he has Damian Wayne captured. And it seems like Damian Wayne is right where he wants to be, right? So we kind of learn Batman's plan and what he's going to be doing to overthrow Bane and in turn, you know, overthrow Thomas Wayne and all that stuff. He's really just fighting these two big creatures the whole time, but we really get Damian Wayne and the rest of the Bat family that come through. It kind of reminded me a lot of a Batman Eternal with like the cast that was in this book, but not much happened besides that, and we kind of figure out, you know, Batman's plan and how he's kind of been in control of the situation the whole time without giving out too much. Like why he was on the beach, that was all for a reason. Damian was captured for a reason. And I don't know, I'm ready for the next thing. I guess Tom King, this will be his last arc, and then James Tynion IV will take over, who actually is writing another book in here that I really enjoy. We'll get to that later, but that was Batman 81. These 2 books are from last week. I didn't have them in my haul, and then I ended up scooping them up throughout the week. But the Batman's Grave issue 1, a 12-issue series. I was nervous about reading this. I actually just read it before recording this because I heard a lot of mixed reviews. I loved the Batman's Grave. I thought it was great. I thought the art was excellent. I thought the writing was fluid, and it was a page turner. And it's a little bit of a murder mystery kind of going on, but starts off with Alfred tending to Thomas and Martha's gravestones and you know, making sure that, you know, he's tending to them in death like he did in life. And Bruce has always had a grave there that they've purchased for him so that he would eventually rest with them. And I can see that's going to be a theme throughout here. You know, Batman's working nonstop, kind of reminds me of myself, working night and day. And Alfred says, "Man, the only thing missing from your grave is a date. So like you're dead. You're a dead man walking." And so it's kind of like a theme I think we're going to see. But I really enjoyed it. The art reminded me, it says it's Warren Ellis wrote it, which was great. Hitch. I don't know who Hitch is, but it felt like a little bit of a Jim Lee, a little bit of a James Tynion vibe. Very clean. A lot of double page spreads that are panels, not just 2 big pieces of artwork or 1 piece of art. So it was a lot of nice big artwork on it. Joker Year of the Villain one-shot. This reminded me a lot of the Joker movie, except this is the perspective of an Arkham inmate that's kind of one of the Joker's 52 henchmen, like a deck of cards, and you're riding with him the whole time, and he's got mental illness, and Joker is kind of taking advantage of that, taking him on this little Joker adventure. They dress up like Batman and Robin. They try to play heroes. The person realizes that, you know, Joker is not, they're not the same, right? And it's a pretty good read. I thought it was a good one-shot. Maybe I'll continue to pick these Year of the Villains up. I didn't realize they were just one-shots. I thought they were all connected, but it was good. Then I picked up this dollar comic, Batman, Breaking of the Bat, Bane, Nightfall thing that I'll probably just throw in a gem crate for a giveaway. I'm always a sucker for these reprints. This is kind of like Marvel's True Believers, where they have a reprint for $1 to make you holler. But yeah, if you want to know about Nightfall, check out my omnibus review I've done of all 3. All right, guys, we're going to jump right to my pick of the week. Something is Killing the Children. This is actually written by James Tynion, and it didn't really feel like it. It didn't feel like his other stuff that I've read. I didn't even know it was him from reading issue 1. Something Killing the Children, I mean, this kind of had like a Pulp Fiction vibe with the girl who's here to fight the monsters, and she's got one of the missing children's brothers with him, and they're at a diner. Kind of remind me like that Pulp Fiction scene. I'm really interested. It seems like maybe not everybody can see the monsters. I don't know. That was kind of weird, and at the end, there's other monsters, it seems like, that maybe aren't bad. So I really like this. This was my favorite read out of all these books here. So Something's Killing the Children, y'all. On issue 2, you should pick it up. This is Warren Ellis too, right? Trees. So that's funny. You got these guys writing on Image and on DC. Trees issue 2 felt way different than issue 1. This one focused primarily on the murder that we got in issue 1. Nothing really about the trees except for at the end. More about the small town cop who grew up in this city, who is trying to solve the murder. So I didn't love Trees issue 2. I thought it was slow, and nothing really much happened. All right, guys, on to the Marvel books. X-Men 1. So typically I don't buy variants, but this Art Germ variant was calling my name. It's not a ratio variant or anything. It's just another cover, a B cover, if you will. This is the cover for issue 1, which I always like to get the original covers, but man, that Art Germ artwork was impressive, man. I think I might even just put that up next to my George Molina print. It kind of has that same vibe. Anyway, X-Men issue 1. This is the first title, the first issue post House of X, Powers of 10. And I gotta tell you, I didn't love it. I felt like it was slow. It was a really oversized book. It doesn't look like it, but it was a long read. And it's not that I hated it. I didn't dislike it. I just didn't love it. You know, it's kind of like this is where they're at now. And I guess we could talk spoilers on Powers of 10 issue 6. That whole series just ends as like, this is the new foundation. This is where we're going from here. We know all the different timelines and how we get killed, so now we're prepared. We've united Magneto, Cyclops, and Apocalypse. We have a council. We have our own nation on Krakoa. We have these flowers that let us have gateways and can let us go anywhere that we want. And the mutants are united. So that's really what this is showing us. It's really heavily focused on the Summers family. Scott has chosen to live on the blue part of the moon that has oxygen, and we learned that with Krakoa and their little habitats, they can put them anywhere. So he's living there. Wolverine's living with him. Jean's living with him. Cable's living with them, which he's calling Jean Mom. I don't know if they've corrected stuff in the timeline or if, you know, Madeline Pryor was still his mother, but, you know, nothing really happens. We get some more stuff with the Orcus crew, who's still around, and they still are trying to build this forge around the sun. But, you know, we have the knowledge as the X-Men, I say we, the good guys, right, to take them down. So, like I said, nothing really happens. Just a little bit of world building going on here. But, you know, still going to pick these up for sure. Spider-Man issue 2. The Abrams father and son team. So we can now talk spoilers on issue 1. This is about 13 or so years in the future. Mary Jane was killed by one of Spider-Man's villains, Canaverous. Spider-Man loses a hand. He has got a Captain Hook hand going on, and he's no longer Spider-Man. But Peter Parker and Mary Jane had a kid, Ben Parker, who we find has spider power. So it's very much like another Spider-Man origin, like Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Ben Parker. He's found out he's got powers, and very quick, a very old Aunt May puts him onto the fact that Peter was Spider-Man, shows him his old costume. This other girl, kind of a vigilante, knows that he's Spider-Man, and he's running around town with her, and he's getting the attention of this Canaverous. I forget if that's his name, which is not a good thing because this guy doesn't play. So I didn't love it as much as issue 1, but definitely going to keep trucking with Spider-Man. Love the artwork in here, and yeah, just, you know, kind of building towards something, just like with X-Men 1. Guardians 10 by Donny Cates. Love me some Guardians. Poor Rocket Raccoon. They're killing him on every cover, but he doesn't really die. So, does he die in this one? I don't know. He definitely looks super frail. He can only survive in this kind of mechanized suit. What else happened in this? I don't even remember. I don't remember much what happened in Guardians. It was okay. I mean, you know, Groot is kind of this teenage Groot. He doesn't say... He can speak more than I am Groot now. That's all I remember from that. Contagion, the weekly issue. On my last comic book day review, I didn't really love it. You know, this is kind of more of the same. They gave a name to the virus and the villain who's kind of spreading it. It's, what is he, the Urchin? Which makes sense because they have all these kind of like, I don't know, coral reef contusions. What do you call them? Protrusions. You know, Thing thinks that he defeats the villain, which has control over the Fantastic Four, who just recently came back after Secret Wars, and they have their own ongoing. I think they're on issue 15. You know, so he's kind of upset because he thinks by destroying the villain that he destroyed the Fantastic Four. So we're dealing with that. Luke Cage comes through, Jessica Jones comes through, and we find out that the villain is still at large. So that's Contagion for you. Like I said, it's in my last review, it's kind of like Marvel's zombie book, except it's not a zombie, it's a plague or a virus. All right, the last 4 books are all absolute carnage, and I know what you're thinking. I'm probably going to bash all the tie-ins, and I'm not. Except for Scream. Scream kind of sucked. Scream has to do with the symbiote, with the host that's wearing Scream, and then she's trying to save Mania, who like we remember from the Flash Thompson run. And I don't know if I want to give spoilers. I mean, we don't talk spoilers, but another person gets the Scream symbiote now. It's another bloodbath kind of battle with Carnage and Scream. Absolute Carnage, the Avengers 1. This tie-in I enjoyed. This is kind of where I thought the whole storyline was going to go, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. It just seems like it's going to be a one-shot, but introducing other Marvel heroes who have worn the symbiote in the past get hunted down or get in the mix or whatever. So this takes place 2 stories here. You got Captain America in New York, and you got Hawkeye in California. I really like the Hawkeye scenes. They kind of emphasize which type of bow he's or which type of arrow he's using, and you're seeing things through his eyes, and he's more stealth and more tactical. Then you have Captain America's running around with SpiderMan, and they're trying to just fight off hordes of Carnage flunkies. That's pretty much all that happens here, and yeah, just like all of Absolute Carnage, nothing much going on there. Absolute Carnage versus Deadpool issue 3. This was actually a funny issue. So Deadpool's fighting Carnage. Carnage really wants Deadpool's codex because he's one of the only people who have worn 4 different symbiotes. Spider-Man comes through and tries to help Deadpool. Once Deadpool figures out they can't beat him, he decides to retreat and leave Spider-Man hanging, which is pretty funny. But he does the right thing, you know, later on. But it was very funny banter. I feel like they make Spider-Man too funny. It's like you already got Deadpool's doing the slapstick stuff. It was a funny read. I enjoyed it. Last up, Absolute Carnage issue 4. I wasn't sure if this was the last issue or not, but it's not. We have issue 5 will end Absolute Carnage. And I thought we were going to start to see like Null coming. God is coming is what, you know, these hordes are always chanting. But, you know, we're not going to give spoilers, but interesting stuff happens with the Venom symbiote here, right? Because Eddie Brock's not wearing it. Where we left off in issue 3 is that Bruce Banner, as the Hulk, is wearing the Venom symbiote, which is pretty cool. And he actually has never worn the symbiote except for either a What If or a variant cover. And that's from Donny Cates himself on Twitter. But something interesting happens with the Venom symbiote, and something interesting happens to Eddie Brock. Kind of unrelated. So interested to see where that's going. I definitely want to see Null come down in the next issue. And like Donny Cates, I'm expecting him to do something that's not safe and something that we don't expect. So counting on you, Donny. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully somebody gets killed. Null comes down. Hopefully Null remains a threat in the Marvel canon moving forward, because he's been doing a great job of putting him in Thor. We heard Null in Guardians. Even Krakoa seems to speak the same language as Null. So I don't see him going anywhere. I think, if anything, we're going to see more of Null. So looking forward to that. Alright guys, that's the new comic book day reviews for today. It came a day late. I had the Juggernaut statue coming. I was doing like live shows every night. I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue to drop these Wednesday morning. I might have to do them every Thursday. So we'll see how that goes. But either way, let me know what you thought about for the comics this week. Make sure to hit the like button, show your boy some support. And subscribe to the channel for more daily content, weekly new comic book day reviews, and we fill out the rest of the week with other dope shit as well. So, thanks for watching. Stay minty fresh. Peace.